Welcome back to Art's World. We're at one of London's most famous galleries, Tate Modern, standing in front of the latest of the Unilever series, a massive spider sculpture. And now, from the gigantic to the tiny, next we meet pioneering Lebanese artists who use tiny clay sculptures to get across a very political message.
I expect to deliver a message without the need of talking.
Jad Khoury is Lebanon's first graphic novelist. For almost 3 decades, his newspaper comics, television cartoons and clay animated films have captured a uniquely Beirut experience.
What I usually work on is what I remember of, like testimonial elements. Maybe because it's a reaction to the war that we lived, I don't know. And we need to have always this reference to the place that we are afraid of losing, of the little details that we are afraid that another war will wipe away.
In the late 1980s, Jad formed a group of young Beirut artists who chronicled the life of their city in darkly brilliant graphic novels. Since then, he and his team have pioneered the art of clay animation in Lebanon. Their most recent creation is a Beirut everyman called Atta. Lina Ghaibeh was Atta's initial creator.
So we knew we wanted to create this popular character who was very wise but not intellectual, who is loved by all and blunders and goes against the system. He does what he wants, but you always tend to like him. And he's the anti-hero, sort of.
With clay animation, we went back to feel a texture of clay.
You have to think just in terms of, keep him plain colors because you don't want the Play-Doh to mess up when you're moving it around, so you can't have checked shirts and striped pants and so on.
Atta is a tribute to the average man in Beirut, which, like most cities, tends to immortalize only the powerful.
He is more or less a figure, an image that is in every brain of a Beiruti. This is what we call sometimes the collective consciousness of an ideogram, that people can project or recognize themselves through.
It's the magic fingers of Suhaib Bala'a who first started the clay animation sculpting. The making of Atta is the latest artistic phase for Jad and his team. Clay animations are produced through a stop-motion technique using a digital camera. Thousands of still images are imported into a computer and then exported to video. For a 90-second clip, Jad's team must work 4 to 6 weeks. Animated films are the most recent phase of Khoury's distinguished career. He began a tradition of comics for adults when the art was unknown both in Lebanon and the wider Arab world.
The aim was to address the adults with this medium that is the comics, and address the adults and make the comics really as a form of art with a big A. For me, it was like that. It was my political, my social, and my artistic medium to express myself.
Adult comics in 1980s Beirut were revolutionary.
I was considered like the terrorist who's coming to the to the established art. What are you talking about? That comics is the new form of art?
The experience of daily life in Beirut informs the personal and often intimate storylines of the group's work.
It was art imitating life. It was civil war Beirut, so it was heavily related to the area. It was what we were living. It was our influences, whether they're the street signs and the gunshots and the holes in the buildings.
all what we try to integrate in our claymation, in our animation, in the comics that I used to do. For me, I have to preserve the memory of a city that I don't know. So I need something, at least virtual, to keep.